Today marks 1341st day sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. And I hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today let's speak about one specific coach. I really love that coach. I don't know who said it, but like the quote goes like this: when the seeds are planted, you don't know if it's flowers or weeds. When the seeds are planted, you don't know if it's flowers or weeds. Such a powerful lesson. Because sometimes when we start doing some habits, some routines, some patterns, some relationships, some business ideas, there's so many things that we really start working on. We do not know which parts are really great and will bring some flowers, or maybe some things that are actually destroying us and are weeds who are destroying our mental garden, emotional garden, maybe wisdom garden. So I think that we need to always reflect. Okay, so like when do I understand when I planted the seed? Because especially when you are a gardener and you look into like seeds, it seems as when at the beginning when you look into those seeds, it seems almost identical. If you're not a gardener, probably have no idea what that seed is. After a while, when you planted a lot of different seeds, you start realizing what it is, what it is, and then sometimes, okay, this seed leads to this plant. This seed leads to this plant. So of course, a lot of times with age, with reflection, with awareness, you're able to really have more wisdom, understanding what kind of habits, where it leads. Or is that a flower? Is that a weed? So we understand that, okay, I don't want to plant that seed. That seed will lead to some shit that will not be able to really flourish, because flowers makes us our life more blissful, more joyful, and weeds makes it harder and really be able to really, when you look at a lot of weeds, of course, sometimes you're able to miss out on the beautiful flowers that is blooming but doesn't have ability to really shine in those fall weeds. And I think that's there's a couple of things that we need to realize about this code that I think that I really want to discuss today a little bit. And the first thing that I want you to really focus on, that the more it grows, the more you realize what it is. So it means that when you look into the habits, small habits that you have, so the more you do that, the more you realize what it is. So that means that, let's take that very, very simple example. So when you look into the eating habits, I mean, this is again brings that other topic that is very, very powerful in personal growth, is compound effect. Compound effect. So it means what do you do on a daily basis will show how that seed will grow. So that means if you every single day you eat some meal and then you eat candies on top of it. So small habit at eating some sugar product after your meal. And after 2 months, after 3 months, you start to realize that there is some fat around your belly. And that belly doesn't come overnight. It comes from the action that you take every single day, and be able to say like, what kind of small habits daily do you do that really actually led into this result? And again, everything that we look into is the result of small habits. The seeds that were planted, like confidence or inconfidence, is basically a seed of the habit that we do. Because I think that lack of confidence, or lack of courage, is the same thing that, like, we ask, like, what kind of habits did they do to really, that caused to achieve this result of encourage, lack of courage. That means lack of courage, that means that you are consistently doing that, you don't do the things that scares you. So this is again, inaction is a chosen action. So when you had a chance to really take action on your fear, but you didn't take that leap of faith, that you didn't take that action, you're basically creating a habit of not taking courage in place. And that's what after a while you feel less and less empowered. And I think that we need to understand that the more it grows, the more we realize what it is. So that when you keep repeating the same thought process, the same actions or inactions, that leads to the result. Because I think that we always need to look into, what do I grow with this action or inaction? And lack of courage is a weed in our success, in our vision. So that means what we need to do, we need to really build courage. So what kind of seeds will allow to develop the courage? What do we need to do daily to achieve that? What do we need to do to water that seed of courage? And I think it's very, very important. Second thing that I want you to really look into is that right before the harvest, you can't tolerate the weeds. Such a powerful thing. Right before the harvest, you can't tolerate the weeds. What it means that is that when you start growing yourself, when other people disrespect you, you might not understand what disrespect really means, and you might ignore or tolerate because you tolerate disrespect towards yourself. But when you grow yourself, when you prove yourself, you start to realize, okay, what is weeds and what is flowers. And the more we grow, the more there's a massive difference between flowers and weeds, and you can't stand those weeds anymore. So when you start those daily habits at the seed moment, you didn't grow enough to understand what is good, what is bad. And that's why I think that when you start to realize after a year, after 2 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, that the things that you used to tolerate in the past, you do not tolerate right now. You're supposed to be happy about it because that means that you grow enough to understand different seeds, different different actions that you're able to take. And because now you realize that the things that you used to tolerate, now you need to create new boundaries because you grew, you are better, you are stronger, you are faster, you have more awareness, you have more wisdom, and now you're able to create better boundaries that really respects you, and you're not tolerating those things that you used to tolerate in the past. And that is again a beautiful thing. And I think that we need to really step into healthy relations, launch a new project, a new career, because I think that we need to really sometimes let go of all those weeds to really plant new seeds. But understanding now when you're really planting new seeds, now you know that some seeds are really bad for you and some seeds are great for you. So the more you plant things, the more you experience, the more you reflect, and the more you build yourself, you're able to let those seeds will never will be planted in my garden. You have those strong boundaries. No disrespect in my life, no validation in my life, no this into my life. Those seeds will be out of my garden because they have been in my garden. I know how it feels. I don't want them into my garden. And of course, because you're becoming the best gardener of your life. So what everyone need to know about really those seeds? So the probably one of the most important thing that every action, every thought, every habit is a seed. And I think that is a beautiful thought to have, that every thought, every habit is a seed. So when you start questioning, okay, so this is my habit that I do every single day. So what this seed will grow into? It will grow into beautiful flower, like smoking. It will grow into the flower. It will, or where it potentially could grow into. When you start realizing and putting that picture in your mind in 10, 20, 30 years, where that potential could lead you, reading book 15 minutes a day, where did it potentially lead you? Leading it to more knowledge, more wisdom, more understanding. That's a beautiful picture to have of that habit. So being able to really see that this seed will grow into something, I think is a beautiful thing. I think that allows you to be much more consistent because you have the picture and visualization of something that you do daily that could um, really could make your life better. So that means if that makes your life better, so that means what kind of person we need to be? We need to be patient. Because I think that farmers or our gardeners are amazing at patience because they understand that when you plant a seed, it will not come overnight. You need to water it, you need to have sun, you need to have a good environment, and that seed will grow and develop. I think sometimes is the same thing that you can potentially have a great thought, but if your environment in your head is so negative that even that negative thought, that great seed will die because we need to really develop our internal environment in our head, always nurture it, that good seeds survive and bad seeds die. And we pluck them out. That's why we need to really observe and reflect. Observe and reflect all the seeds that we're creating in our lives. Thoughts, actions, habits. At the same time, we're not supposed to be afraid to pluck things out when you finally realize that this seed was this weed. I need to pluck it out. I don't need that into my life. I'm being okay because at some point I thought that this seed will lead to somewhere, something good potentially even. But you realize that after growing that plant, that habit, you realize that habit is taking away me from my goal. Because not every single habit is adding value. Some habits are taking away. So when you realize that, okay, like those habits is adding, those habits are neutral, and those habits are taking away. So at some point, the best in life, you pluck the bad ones, you pluck the neutral, and add more on the good ones, on great ones that just actually add tremendous value into your life. So I hope that you reflect as well. What kind of seeds are in your mind? What kind of seeds do you create right now? In your relationships, in your goals, in your vision, in your habits, in your thoughts, in your actions, because there's so many seeds that you're planting. And I think that sometimes we get lost because we're planting so much. We start we sometimes forget that those seeds sometimes need to be nurtured, developed. Because when you focus on a couple seeds that you really want to develop, those couple seeds go so big. And I think that's exactly why so many people who really want to achieve greatness never achieve greatness, because they focus on thousands of seeds rather than focusing who are great ones. Focus on one seed, couple seeds, one skill set, one character trait, something, one season, so that they're able to develop into experts. And people, of course, pay a lot of money for experts, and you feel more fulfilled. I think that when you have something that you achieved in an expert level. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.